please.
Robert Kraus,
Present.
Jason Blair,
Here.
Scott Singer,
Here.
Gary Kavner,
Here.
David Roberts,
Here.
Mark Ham,
Here.
Glenn Lewis.
Here. Would you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? At this time, I'd like to recognize the people from Serve More. If you guys would like to come up and be recognized, stand up here.
Mayor Sean Evans is the, I'm not sure what his title
Ringleader?
is, but leader
Yes.
Ringleader is the actual official
of
title.
this group. and
That's what he told me.
He's got some information to share about the needs that they've met and some of the things that they've done. But let me just say that this group of folks has been just tremendously invaluable to us in dealing with the volunteers and with donations. When right after the storm, they stepped up. And if you'll tell just a little bit about, 2 minutes about how that started, I think would be great. But I said, what is Serve More and who is Serve More? And I was assured that they were good people and that they would help us. And I was proven, or who told me that was Jamie was proven correct 1,000 times over. So we very much appreciate what you all have done. There's no way to even say thank you enough and value it enough. But again, if you can just tell us a little bit about it, it would be cool.
Yeah, be glad to. Let me just say we didn't know who we were in those first few days either, so it just kind of came together. We're just obviously the last 3.5 months has just been a crazy turn of events, and there's been a lot of hard work, a lot of joy in the middle of it, and we certainly just feel like this is our community, and we didn't feel like we had any other choice but to just start working. So just give you a few statistics. In that, since May 20th, we've had approximately 34,600 volunteers from all over the world have joined us and come through our doors. That's approximately 228,936 volunteer hours that I don't know much about this, but as I understand, that's going to turn into dollars for the city, so I'm excited about that. And then we've served about 1,600 families. That's been about 2,100 needs that have been met. So one really cool thing that our staff pulled some information and realized that within the first week of those recovery efforts, all 50 states had been represented. And then within the second week, 6 of the 7 continents had shown up at some point. So we had a lot of people here to help us out, and certainly couldn't have done it without them. We've had a lot of gear show up, a lot of things had been donated. We realized that of the 36 chainsaws that were given to Serve More, we have 5 left. The rest have been pretty well worn out. We've had over 100 wheelbarrows given to us, and we have about half of those left. So still quite a bit of stuff that we're keeping inventory on. We've got a great crew here that's helping to do that. And I don't know, we're here to stay. We don't know what that looks like, but we'd like for you guys to know that this is our community, and it's really been a joy to serve it and to have your help and input. And so we don't see that changing at any point. We're not master builders, so there certainly is a time that has come where there's homes that need to be rebuilt, businesses that need to be rebuilt. I don't really know what our part in that is, but I certainly would like to see the traction and the grace that God's given us on this thing to somehow translate into long-term community renewal. And so we're just really, really excited for projects like we agreed this week to work with the Moore Public Schools PTA Council to work on 5 new playgrounds, things like that, things of that nature. We're working on the Old Town pumpkin patch right now, rebuilding a lot of fences, and just those kinds of things. We're very especially interested in the renewal of Old Town, That's a place that's near and dear to our hearts and other areas in Moore that are kind of under-realized. We hope that you guys, with your input, will be able to continue on, serve for an indefinite amount of time.
I just want to say thank you, kind of echo what Steve said. First time I heard about you guys, I guess, was at the volunteers at the cemetery.
Yeah.
Went over and we expected maybe 25 or 30 people show up
crazy.
at the cemetery the next day to pick up trash, and it was about 1,500 people showed up. Just, and it was like, that is amazing.
Yeah, we were blown
I
away.
remember asking Steve, who are these guys?
Yeah,
So it was pretty phenomenal.
yeah.
And we were still looking for people at the time you guys were out picking it up. That was incredible. So appreciate all your work.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, let me just, if I could, introduce the team here that's just been tremendous. Chris Fox is our on-site director. Erin Calasanto is our administrator. She's the one that gets everything done, really. Without her, we would be lost in a pile of papers. Matt Polk is our on-site coordinator. He keeps everything inventoried and makes sure that the chainsaws that walk out the door come back. So, and then Brian Wolf is our needs coordinator. He meets with families, finds out what they need, and we go to work helping them out at that point. So
That is exceptional.
it's been just a great team. We feel like there's just been a ton of grace on this, and glory to God for that. And it's just been a joy to serve our town.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Were y'all connected, this group here, were you connected prior to May 20?
Yeah, certainly. Just friends. We're connected through a couple, well, probably, I guess it's 3 local churches that's represented here. And we were just already connected to one another, had some friendships, relationships here at the city. And so that really helped when it was time to get to work. We kind of were able to rally quickly, and I think it proved beneficial.
If people want to volunteer, how do they get a hold of you?
Best thing to do is you can actually register a group or a need on our website is www.servemore.com, and we've got phone lines open. But the best thing to do is if you know people that have needs, please let them know. They can go straight to that website, register the need they have, but also groups from all over the world can go to that website and register their group to come help anytime.
Good job, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Item 2 is the consent docket. Excuse me. Item A is approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held August 19th, 2013. Item B is receive the minutes of the planning commission meeting held June 11th, 2013. Item C is accept a 50 square foot sanitary sewer utility easement to serve the Sienna Ridge addition located in the northeast quarter of section 12, township 10 north, range 3 west being south of northeast 27th and west of Bryant. Item D is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2013-2014 in the amount of $1,718,591.39.
Make a motion to approve.
All right.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion on these items? If not, we'll have the vote, please.
Robert Kraus,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Scott Singer,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
David Roberts,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 3 is receive a presentation from Debbie Hampton, Executive Director of United Way of Central Oklahoma, and Janemy Bella, Executive Director of Red Cross of Central and Western Oklahoma, regarding long-term recovery efforts.
Mayor, I asked these 2 ladies to come down and address the council just to give you all an update of what United Way and Red Cross has been doing and are doing and will be doing in the future. I know there's questions occasionally that you have or the public out there has, so I think they graciously agreed to come and make a brief presentation and answer any questions that you might have. So,
Thank you,
Debbie.
we appreciate it.
I would like to thank the mayor and city council, and it's a true honor to be able to report to you what we've been doing. Just so you know, on a day-to-day, we have United Way of Central Oklahoma, which is Moore's United Way. funds 55 nonprofit agencies out of the 60 that we fund total that provide services in the city of Moore day to day. I do want to give you a report on the disaster relief efforts, and to date, United Way has raised, as of actually a total this morning, $14.6 million in pledges and donations. We have dispensed and committed $5.2 million towards the relief efforts. The type of needs that we are funding include mental health, trauma counseling, debriefing for first responders. We've restored space for some counseling services for children that have been impacted by the disaster. And just recently, we approved a large grant for a 3-year commitment for Moore Youth and Family to work with all of the schools in the Moore School District, helping to provide a counselor in every school. And that is a 3-year commitment. So $2 million of that $5.2 million basically was spent for emergency needs. We have now entered into the long-term recovery phase, and that's where the counseling pieces come in. We have put together a disaster disbursement fund committee, and that is made up by community leaders that have a strong background in allocating funds to nonprofits and that accountability piece, and also live in the impacted area. So we felt that that was very important to have in place. We are also part of the Oklahoma Disaster Recovery Project, which is a collaboration of case management through the American Red Cross, the Salvation Army, Catholic Charities, the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, and the Oklahoma United Methodist Church. I know Janine is going to talk a little bit more about those efforts, but that has been very important to us to be able to take care of any kind of gap-fill area. We are anticipating this to be at least a 2-year recovery, and now that we're in the long-term funded area, we just want to make sure that you're aware and happy to give updates at any point in time that you request us to come and tell you. We also have a website that at any time the media, the public can look at how much we had spent to date and how many funds have come in to date. I do want to report on one other fund. The governor asked us early on in the disaster if we would administer the governor's fund, which is the Oklahoma Strong Fund. That is purely meant for long-term recovery, and currently that fund has $4.4 million pledged and donations. And those funds have yet to be expensed because they will start to now as soon as the governor's office releases those guidelines for long-term recovery. And I think that's, I'll have a packet for any of you, and I'm open to any questions you might have.
I'm just curious how the group of interested parties are helping assess needs and monies and people that live in the impacted areas and so forth. How often do y'all meet, and where do you meet? Are they open to the public and so forth?
Well, and one of the things that United Way's funds that are different from when you hear about the Red Cross funds, our funds are not direct service delivery providers. We are funding the nonprofits that provide those services. And so we're working with United Way partner agencies and those agencies that collaborate with them. Being part of the Oklahoma Disaster Recovery Project, that is where the case management piece is coming into play. And so they are meeting, there's a 1-800 line that people can call for help that need assistance in any of the impacted area, as well as they can come to the long-term recovery center. Now, were you talking now about our committee that's meeting on dispensing those funds? I want to make sure I'm clear.
Yes, is that there, you said that there was a committee made up of different interested parties that have either been impacted or live in this area, that stakeholders that y'all meet with
Correct.
regularly?
Yes, currently they meet every other week unless we have an emergency need that cannot wait, and then we would call an emergency meeting together to advance those funds. But that is individuals that live in the impacted area of, there's 19 counties impacted, but we do have representation from more.
Okay.
I'm the representation from Moore.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't know if Steve wanted me to say that. We try to protect that committee a little bit, but Steve is the representative, and he's also serves on the board of United Way.
What type of needs are you providing to people that have lost homes or have had them damaged specifically?
Again, those are at the requests of the agencies that are applying or asking us for money. And in all honesty, especially the immediate needs, our agencies had received disaster funds, and so they were taking care of a lot of the immediate needs, and that's why you're seeing that $2 million of those dollars went to help. And predominantly, the majority of that went to Catholic Charities that was providing on the ground case management services. So they were doing immediate follow-up needs. Now that we're starting the rebuilding process, we're expecting to get more requests from our agencies to help in whatever way that is not being already funded by funds from, I would say especially, and I know that Janine's going to talk about this, but the Red Cross. So we're really, the best way I know how to tell you about United Way is we're kind of that safety net. So if there's a need out there that maybe Red Cross or, one of the other organizations out of that 5 are not able to do, and it's a true need, they'll come and request money from United Way to provide those services. And as the money starts being expended, you'll see other needs. Like, for example, Moore Youth and Family helping with the counseling in the Moore schools. They did not have the funds to do that, and that was a request that we received from them. One other area that might help on the accountability piece is United Way is going to watch how those funds are expended throughout the process. So if we find, for example, a nonprofit such as Legal Aid that is helping on the legal issues related to this is not going to need as much of the money, and we've committed a certain amount, we're going to watch and get periodic reports, and then we will move that money from that agency to another agency that needs those dollars.
Thanks for coming up. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Janine, I'm sorry I blotched your name a while ago. It says Jane Ann on my sheet right here.
You know what, that's okay.
I know who you are, so sorry.
You know what, people pronounce it all different ways, and I'll answer to just about anything, so. Thank you for having us. My name is Janine Bella, and I'm the CEO of the American Red Cross of Central and Western Oklahoma. And like Debbie, I'll give you an update of kind of where we've been, where we're going, and kind of what our future plans hold. So from May 19th through the 31st, the Red Cross responded to 19 tornadoes that impacted our communities in Oklahoma. Over 6,500 homes were damaged or destroyed, had some sort of damage in all of those different 19 storms. Specifically, also, we have opened over 6,300 cases. In Moore alone, 2,574 cases in the initial response phase. So about 41% of the cases that we opened initially were right here in Moore. And along with that, in our initial emergency response, we had 12 Red Cross shelters that were opened that provided over 6,500 overnight stays. Also, 45 emergency vehicles came in to distribute food and items such as rakes, shovels, storage bins, sunscreen, lip balm, just anything that we heard on the ground that people needed to do cleanup or be at their sites, water, things like that. Over 4,000 relief items, 400,000 relief items like the rakes and shovels that I mentioned were distributed, and over 460,000 meals and snacks were distributed in those initial days of just the initial emergency response. So for the Red Cross, we have the emergency response phase, and then we go into long-term recovery. So probably about mid-July is when we started, beginning to mid-July is when we started our response phase slowing down, and then the long-term recovery phase. They overlap a little bit, and we like to do that to ensure that there's not a gap in service. And as we headed into the long-term recovery phase, we knew that we were looking at probably an 18-month to 2-year project, if not longer, just based on our experience dealing with other communities. For instance, we've been visiting very regularly with folks in Joplin and the Red Cross in Joplin, and they are 3 years out and still have long-term recovery going on. So we very well could be looking at more than 2 years, but we're prepared at least for a 2-year project. We are partnering with St. Vincent de Paul, Catholic Charities, Salvation Army, and UMCOR on the long-term recovery project. To date, we have 3 offices that are doing and providing long-term recovery case management. Those are, one of them is right here in Moore, El Reno, and Shawnee. And as of today, we have 29